Well, yesterday, the Minister of Livestock Development addressed rumors that the federal government has banned grazing, open grazing in the country. This came as a relief to many Nigerians as, we have fears of what might happen in the country given how hot everywhere is. This is Alternative Mindsets. I'm Chinwe Blessing. I'm joined by PK and Philip. Are we having a good afternoon?
Did you say by Kike or?
PK. Are you Kike? Do you want to be Kike?
No.
Hi, Kike.
Really?
I mean, if you want to be Christian, I don't mind doing
bind
that.
in Jesus' name.
I remain bound. I agree to be bound. Okay, so let's look at it. Yes, gentlemen. What would have been, the effect if this was not a rumor?
Well, thank God it was a rumor. From the government, it has been clear that there is no plan to ban, open grazing at the moment, and that what they have is quite different from what people are speculating. It would have been unthinkable that the government at this point in time, when insecurity is at its peak, that they will create more insecurity in this country, because it will have been a case of the president announcing on the day of his swearing in that fuel subsidy is gone without putting plans in place. I'm so happy the Minister of Livestock Development, took time to explain to Nigeria what they are doing and what they are going to do. Yes, this open grazing is going to come to an end, but it's a gradual process. This is what we Nigeria have been asking for. If you must do anything, there should be action plan and the steps to be taken. And this is what he has explained, that it came as a great relief that truly this, there's no banning of the open grazing, because if the Fulani are doing what they are doing to farmers at this time when they are still allowed to graze everywhere, what would not happen that if you now say that action is illegal, the country would have gone ablaze.
Well, of course, those fears are very valid. Now, why would you think that rumor will spread so fast? That's one. And secondly, who do you think, or what kind of source would that rumor have come from?
People that want chaos in the country, probably, because most of the time now news are being manufactured according to how people want it to go, either to spite or to support. But yesterday's own was not some of the good news, though it would have been appreciated and jubilated over by many. So it's not the popularity that makes it good or the goodness of it that makes it good. What makes it good is at the right time and at the right moment. The right time was not yesterday, it's not this time at all. And like Philip said, they should also learn to do preambles with things, test with things, make sure there's a level playing ground to which most of your policies can rest on. Until you do that, you cannot do some other things. Now, for example, if we have better roads, insecurity will reduce. I can assure you that. Kidnapping is going to reduce, because most of the people that are kidnapped from where the road is bad. Roads that are lonely, roads that the shoulders are bushy.
So you cannot.
You can navigate. You can. Do you understand? They can easily just go into the road. If I can see 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, or even 3 kilometers ahead, I will know that there is trouble ahead. Do you understand? So these are what the government is supposed to be doing. There's no amount of insecurity that you're going to reduce if you don't reduce the level of poverty for the people. There are some people that, kidnapping is now economic gains for. The same way with whatever Yahoo and all that. Now, if you want the Fulani people to leave their custom, their way, things where they've always done things. Yes. I've known the Fulani from the time I was born that they migrate all the time.
From one place to
during dry season. You see them come to the south. During the rainy season, they are coming back to the north. Now, if you make room for them, you have grasses, hays to which they can transport to their places. Most of these things will reduce. The Fulani we knew before were always dashing you things, milk,
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely. My best friend growing up, her name is Mariam. I have no idea where she is now, but I remember my mother back then would send me to the Ruga behind ITF there in Jos, and I would walk from the house as a child, and I would go to the Ruga and would sit there. Her mother, I think, is one of the reasons why I still have very soft hair. Her mother would make our hair with the there's oil that they get out of the no-no.
Yes,
that oil. She would make my hair with it every weekend. And I and Mariam became very close. But when the insecurity started and all of that, we didn't feel safe.
Israel.
Yes, my mom didn't let me go to the Ruga anymore, and that was the Nigeria that we used to have. Unfortunately, now we've been divided by a lot of lines, and very few Nigerians will believe that it's not every Fulani person. There are still Fulanis that are very against it. A lot of them that are even confused. When you start to talk about this, they're like, that's not, we don't know guns, we know sticks,
yes,
and we know cows,
yes,
but back into it. Now, one of the things that the minister said was that Nigeria has 273 gazetted and grazing reserves, and gradually we're going to transition into that. Do you think that the Fulani community is going to be open to that level of change, being that this is not the first time this conversation is coming up?
Well, you see, people are bound to grow. And I think the Fulani, they are not exceptional. They will grow with time. Excuse me. The minister was taking time to explain what they shone at that people mistook to say they are banding, the Oppo Grazing. That look, this is what we said. We already in our laws, in our provisions, we have this provision for the Fulanis for them to graze their cow, but that it has not been activated. This is what we are trying to activate, and we are going to activate it in this process, because if, like PK said, if you just say it just like that, it will cause a lot of mayhem, because it's like taking food from the mouth of those who feed on the grazing of the cow. So for you to move them from that occupation to another, you have to take time. Change. The only thing that is permanent in life is change. Yes, they are not open to it. Like we know them to be. Their life is moving about with their cow. That's what they are used to. Confining them to a place for them to graze their cow, it's not going to be an easy task. But when you take time to take them through the process, they will get used to it, and they will find that it is better. That the point he was making, the Fulani don't need to migrate to the south. You see, there's this grazing. It could be of greater economic value to both parties. We can, we can farm this, grasses in the south, export to them, and then we take
their milk or even the meat,
instead of killing ourselves, and then it will be of economic benefit to both parties. And this is what the federal government is trying to achieve by trying to activate the plan they have failed to activate. I think the problem has been that the lack of political will on the part of government to achieve it before now has been the problem. It's not the Fulani, the cattle bearer themselves.
I remember when I got to ABU in my days of university, we used to have cows in school until Major General Maman Kantagora came, of blessed memory. He came after the riots and all that. He came. He was a sole administrator, and he said, we don't want to see cows inside Ahmadu Bello University, and that has stayed till today. Now the reason there was not because of violence. I don't want cows on the street. No, it's really,
they don't even belong.
They don't belong to the streets. It's in
There's
a modern
nothing on
society.
the streets for cows.
No,
cows want grass. Grass is in the bush.
It's in the bush. Look, let me tell you something. There are rural areas in everywhere. I remember somewhere in Wiley, around Dallas, they are rural area. You will see chicken moving about. You see cows. They are rural area. They can graze. They have places they graze there. Do you understand? It's an open place. People go to those markets, buy and all that. Not you see in a town, in a major road, there is hold up because cows are crossing. It's not ideal in a modern city like this or anywhere in Nigeria. It's not ideal. We can have more manpower put into something better than we have these kids that are even supposed to be in school. Do you understand? At least some basic education, being a Mieti Allah forming association around it, which is very nonsensical as far as I'm concerned.
Well, finally, how do you see this transition affecting the long-standing farmer herder crisis, if it eventually works out, do you think this might just be one long-lasting solution to this farmer herder crisis situation that we've been battling?
If the federal government does it very well, if they attend to it very well, the problem of the federal government is that most of the time when there's a government change or the minister changes or anybody changes within, they don't continue with the policies that were instituted and they're very good by the other one. That's one of the problem we have. We must have continuation of this policy. It's not the minister that sets the rules. If it's good and it's already there, anybody that comes to follow it through, not to abandon this project, enter into this project. These are some of the institutional structures we need in our country.
Let me take your take on that.
Yeah, I think he has said it all. If the government follow it through, it will serve as a permanent solution to herders farm crashing. Because when the cow are restricted to their domain and they have enough grasses to graze, they won't come out to cause mayhem in the farm, and the farmer will also have their farm to themselves. And again, when this is happen, the farmer will even need the fish, the
dung,
the dung of the cow to fertilize their farm without giving us chemical to eat. Those
Exactly.
are natural, fertilizer. So I think the government, you have started a good job. I'm calling upon you to see, just like Pickens, mentioned, wherever you stop, whoever that will come in next should be able to follow it through so that we can have a permanent solution to herders, farmers class in Nigeria.
Well, from everything we've discussed and seen, this solution sits at the epicenter of most of the issues, the many national issues that is bedeviling our darling nation. I mean, it sits at the center of security, food production, community relations, economic stability, among many others. Is the government going to follow through with their word? Are they going to see to it that they actually put this institutional system in place? And would other administrations follow suit if they come in? These and many questions are the real issues. Keep following our broadcast on Mindsets, on Alternative Mindsets.